Welcome to this edition of In Transition. I'm Libra Johnson. Our world today is filled with a bevy of social media platforms that continuously feed our daily lives with amazing stories of great courage in the face of change, adversity, triumph, and tragedy. Many of these stories capture our attention and our hearts, but just as many are never told. These are the stories of everyday lives in transition, people overcoming great change to discover a new purpose, a hidden gift, a new normal. According to the 2010 census, the average U.S. family household has less than one child. Hard to believe when you think about it, but that in fact is what makes today's guests all the more incredible. Over the past few decades, we've seen our fair share of big family chaos and joy with the 70s and 80s hits like The Partridge Family, The Brady Bunch, and 8 is Enough. Fast forward 20 years, and these families get even bigger and more personal with reality TV hits like Kate Plus 8 and 19 Kids and Counting. But what is it really like managing the home, hearts, and hopes of multiple children? We'll find out today when we get up close and personal with the Kilmers, a family of 13, recently featured on ABC's Good Morning America and by the Washington Post for their unique ability to keep it all going. You are an incredible family. I have to tell you, just to see you, to know that you're a local family featured on a national program like ABC's Good Morning America, it was exciting to see you, to know that we have our own local celebrities here. What's it been like for you, having been featured on that program?
Well, it was a great experience for the kids, and it was a little bit of a challenge to have them come into our house and actually film the day-to-day workings of the home because it's not picture perfect.
Yes.
So it was just lots of fun for the kids, and they did a great job.
Yeah,
so,
I bet they did. I'll tell you, as a viewer, I felt like I was there. You know, just to see you setting the table and to see the routine and the family room and all of the cubbies and how things are organized. So I think that's what people really are excited about, to see sort of our own version of the Duggars, to see how it is, Jen and Larry, how you get this done. So tell us about this big family. Do you come from big families? Did you know you were going to want to have a big family? How did this all start for you? Yeah.
I mean,
well, how did you come from a big family?
No. and well, I mean, I was still single at 40. So at that time in life, you think, probably this is teaching, coaching, and that's what I did. And then we actually met on a soccer field.
Wow.
Where I think she thought I was the dad to some of the players, one of the players or whatever. But then it happened pretty quick, honestly, when asked out for lunch one day, and 10 months later we were married.
There you are. Little did you know you'd have your own team one day.
Little did we know.
Exactly.
No.
But Jen, you come from a big family.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 8 siblings.
Wow.
And very close in age, just like my own family. So I really enjoyed that. I had a very good experience. Some people don't have a great experience growing up in a large family for whatever reason, but my family was very strong. And we actually just recently had a family reunion in August. Everybody went from all the different parts of the country. We met in New Hampshire at Lake Winnipesaukee, and it was great because by now we have 49 grandchildren.
Wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, and so it was my parents' 50th anniversary, which was a reason, but it just was a reminder of how much we all enjoy each other, even though we've been separated for many years now because of our own personal families, but what great joy we got from being together. And the children as well.
How do you get this done? I mean, you come from a big family. I think you said you were raised on a farm.
A small farm.
A small farm, not a major farm.
No, we didn't. It wasn't a farm where we produced anything that we would share with the community. It was just for our own
land.
Yes, we had chickens and pigs, but we just
cattle.
For ourselves,
yeah. Well, for the viewers who watched that show, the Good Morning America piece, and who read the Washington Post article, people are curious, how do you get this done? I mean, we get to walk through your routine on the GMA piece. But Jen, you're up at 5 o'clock in the morning, off to Mass by 6:30?
6:30.
So in order to run this house, because clearly you have a group of really incredible kids, how do you get this done? For people who are saying, I cannot imagine how she does this every day. Does it take strict organization to make this happen?
Well, I would like to pretend I was more organized than I am, but in order for anything to work, you have to have organization. Otherwise, you're redoing what you've done already several times. So there is a sort of a routine that we follow, and it seems to work as long as everyone's healthy. Then it kind of works. You know, the schedule doesn't work so well when that happens. But as long as we stick to the same schedule, everyone knows what to expect. And with little kids, when they know what to expect, it just makes it easier for them.
I can imagine that. Now, for people who will wonder, was this a plan? Did you all know that you were going to have this many children? Was this part of a master plan for you?
I think it was God's plan, but when we got married, we had decided that we would accept the children God sent. Now, we were kind of the benefit of that is that we were older already, so there weren't that many years of children left, but we're very grateful that we have 11, because we were thinking maybe 5. But
you were? Oh, sorry.
Right, and then you just keep going, and before you know it, you've got this wonderful brood clan team of Kilmers that are 11.
Right.
And the age ranges are?
The oldest is 13, and the youngest is 1.5.
Oh, so this is a great group of kids.
Wow.
They are
Well,
really
I did
great.
read in the post they absolutely adore having each other, and we're going to want to hear more about that in the coming segments. So we'll be right back. Up next, we'll hear more from Jen and Larry Kilmer when they address some of those burning questions about their big family choice and the perceived unfair burden on their children. We'll be right back.
I'm a big believer in the power of we. It's time for you to raise your hand. Go to serve.gov and get involved in something you believe in.
We weren't born to follow.
Are you with me?
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back. In August 2011, the Washington Post featured the Kilmer family story and followed it up with an online Q&A where Jen shared her tips and a number of readers shared, well, let's just say some were less than supportive. So let's talk about public perception. There were talk about money and time and attention to children. You are a big family, so do you find that when you're out, people are sort of looking and you're almost wondering if they're about to make a negative comment about all of these children? And what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, every time we're out in public, we usually get some kind of comment. Now, the comments on the Washington Post were not so positive, but I think because they're anonymous, people feel a little more free to say more negative things. But when we're out in public, they tend to be positive, although some of the negative comments, are these all yours? Are you done yet? What are some other?
Yeah. You know, was it TV? You know.
Oh, do you have a TV?
Do you have a TV?
Don't you have a TV?
Don't you have a TV?
Don't you have a TV? Oh, as if to say, aren't you watching the news? Why would you?
Or just watch TV.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and it's funny
Yeah.
because I did read the Q&A, and every now and then there was a comment where people wondered, well, why didn't you adopt? There were so many children who need homes and so on. And you were very good about responding to each one of those. It didn't seem at any point that you seemed ruffled or offended. So you had a very good spirit about the way in which people were asking the questions and not taking them very personal.
Well, I think people have some bad experiences, and maybe something affected them growing up that my lifestyle reminded them of something bad. So perhaps it's not their fault for the way they feel about something, so I didn't take that offensive when they came back at me with something negative. There were also some issues that always come with large families that bother people. For example, you know, the use of the resources. You know, we have more people, so they use more resources. Or
attention. One of the other ones was, how could each child possibly get the attention they need?
Right.
And I thought you addressed that well. What would you say to people who normally ask that? That's probably a very common question.
And it's a very good question. And it's something that we struggle with all the time, because obviously there's only 2 of us and there are 11 of them. So we do the best we can to help them when they need help and address their needs. But we can't, if it were one person, obviously we could address it immediately, but that's not always the case. But the thing that I find helpful is that many times, at least in my experience, when I had a difficult time, I had siblings to go to. Maybe that could help me better than my parents. So
Absolutely.
we kind of rely on that fact, hoping that this built-in support system with the siblings is also giving them attention that they need. So, you know, if I'm preparing dinner and the 1-year-old needs me to do something for him, my 13-year-old might be able to jump in and help out. So he's getting that attention. It may not be from me.
Absolutely.
And,
but you're teaching the 13-year-old a
Right.
sense of responsibility,
Right.
which is awesome.
Right.
Which is awesome. We need adults out there who have, from 13, learned that they have to give, they have to share, and that their gifts are also to be used to benefit other people. So it sounds as if your kids are getting those lessons very early in life.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, it sounds like they are.
Yeah.
In fact, in the Post article, one of your kids responded to this question about having so many siblings and said they love the idea, actually, of always having someone to talk to. I'm a twin, so I always had someone to talk to. And your kids seem to really relish the fact that, you know, we have each other. I will say you were also asked the question about how do you break up fights? And you said, no, I pull them apart, and I put
Physically.
one in one place and one in the other. So it's a very normal family.
Right.
Just in terms of it's not always perfect.
Right.
And kids aren't always loving each other every minute of the day.
Right.
Hence the reason that they have parents to referee when necessary.
Exactly. Sometimes I feel like I have to wake up and put my striped white and black shirt on just to get through the day.
And
But
your whistle and
Right.
And the-
get the team going. Now, how do you keep them moving? I know that you also said in the article that one of the ways you address attention is to break off time where they get some quiet time or private time, even if it's in small groups with the older kids and the little kids. How do you manage that?
well, even when there's a little, for example, one of us would have to run an errand. A lot of times we would take 1 or 2 kids with us just to have that little time alone with them. And in the house, I always need help, so I would ask one of the kids to help me, but it's also, even though we're on task doing something, it's an opportunity to have a conversation that we would
Absolutely.
normally have.
And I know that you said that one of your girls or a couple of your girls have done summer camps, so they're not missing out on opportunities
Oh.
because they're needed at home.
Right.
Well, I mean, they miss out on a few things that maybe if they were in a smaller family, they would, for example, some would like to have Irish step dancing classes, you know, or they would like to be on a football team, or they would like to be on a travel team, which requires a lot of commitment from the parents, and we don't have that opportunity. So they miss out on some things, but they have things that other kids don't have, in that they have their siblings, they have even the friends of their siblings are their friends, you know, so they have this kind of a built-in system.
It's a big group. Now, what about money? Because people have talked about the strain on
What
resources.
about
And
money?
you were honest in the Post article. You said, well, you know, college, we're not sure yet. We're just trusting that God has a plan and that by the time we get there, it'll all get worked out. Now, I've heard that there have been some incredible report cards lately. So I don't think you're going to have to worry about it, which is also a great strategy. But do you worry about money? Because, Jen, I know you $300 a week on groceries. That's a lot.
Yes.
So do you worry, or do you just, you know, you just day by day,
No,
just, how do you do it?
I don't think about it. I know that
It's
sounds silly, but
it's sometimes better for him not to worry about it. He
Yeah.
goes and does his job, and then that's my baby. And sometimes the baby's sick because we can't reach the finances that we would like to. As far as future planning, this is where we struggle. We kind of get through the month, keep our head above the water, you know, and just make sure we're responsible in, as far as we feed the children, we have what we need, the utility bills are paid, and all the necessary things. We can't go on extravagant trips. We'll probably never go to Disney World. Sorry to say to my children. But, you know, those kind of things, there will not be options to do that. But that's what, when you choose to have a large family, that's part of the choices that you have to make.
right.
Yeah, there are sacrifices to be made, but again, something children should learn as well. Because I do think that part of what is going on in our society is that we have children who don't think about others, who never have to think about having less than, who don't have to think about making do, and then sometimes also are not creative as a result of that. So I get the feeling your children really know how to make Disney right there at home if they have
Well,
to.
you know, interesting story. At one point, my oldest was, you know, in school they often get Scholastic book, you know, requests to purchase these things. And it comes home and everyone in school is talking, I want to get this, I want to get that, you know. And it's not something that we can even start, because if we start with one, we have to really follow through with the others.
Absolutely.
So my daughter came home one time and said, "Mom, how come we never get these? It's not fair. I don't get to get these, and I just want to have this one book." And I stopped for a second. I said, "Listen," it was Christina. I said, "Christina, would you rather have this book, or would you rather have your brother Tommy?"
What'd she say?
Which was tough, because I really put her on the spot. And luckily she said, "Oh yeah, I guess I would rather have Tommy."
Good. Well, we're going to get to hear that from her directly. Up next, we'll get to meet some of the Kilmer kids and hear from them about what it's like to be a part of such a unique family and what they really think about time, attention, and chores. We'll be right back.
To be a good father is the most important job in a man's life, but it doesn't have to be hard. Play catch. Go to a park or visit a zoo. Help your child with their homework. Sit down together for dinner. Ask them how their day was. Things get busy, and sometimes we all fall short. But the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
What's that? I don't know. Something I kind of made. Ooh, what's it do?
What do I do? Well, thanks for asking. I ring my bell and I like to dance. What do I do? Well, thanks for asking.
Ow! Yeah, it still needs a little work.
Anything's possible. Keep thinking. Get started on your own inventions or just play some games at inventnow.org.
Welcome back. So what better way is there to know just how the Kilmer kids feel about it all than to hear it directly from them? Welcome to the show, Christina, Joe, Michelle, and Julie. Thank you for coming. We're so excited to have you. So we figured that we would hear directly from you all about what it's like to be a part of a large family. But before we go, Jen, name all of the kids.
Christina, Joe, Michelle, Julie, Tommy, Stephen, Matthew, John, Paul, Little Larry, Rosemary, and Peter.
I love it. Little Larry. I love it. Just because you said Little Larry, I have to ask you, how old is he?
He's 5.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So we've got the rundown on all of the names. I think I had them memorized, but I just wanted to hear Mom tell me them. So listen, you're all up there. We are dying to hear from you because the biggest part, the most special part of this family is you all, the kids. So I know that everyone wants to hear from you, just to hear what some of your thoughts are. I'm a twin, so I have some thoughts about having someone at home, but to have 11 kids at home, what's that like? We'll start with Michelle. Any thoughts about being a part of a huge family?
Well, it's like you have more people to play with, and you have to take more responsibility for others, and so, yeah.
So having more people to play with, upside. Good thing? Never a boring moment at the house?
Never.
Good. Christina, what would you say is one of the best things about being a part of a large family?
Well, I think it's a great experience just to have a lot of people with you, and you always have like someone to go and talk to. Like my mom said earlier, she always went to her siblings, even if her parents weren't there. And I think you become more like independent, and you learn to share with others, but at the same time it just helps you like as a person.
That's a good thing. You said more independent, because I would think if you've got a lot of siblings, I have a twin, so they weren't letting us as little kids be in the same classroom because they were concerned that we would not make other friends, because I think we would have spent all the time talking to each other. But you brought up a good point. You said it actually could make you more independent. Is it because you have responsibility at home that maybe you wouldn't have if you only had 1 or 2 siblings?
Yeah, because you're thinking of because there's everyone in the family to think about, so you're not getting all the attention all the time, which isn't a bad thing, but it helps you just to like focus. Like, I have a test tomorrow, so I should study, or I have a exam in 3 days, so I should start preparing for it.
So you're saying it sort of helps you to become a little bit more responsible for yourself in areas that you could be more responsible for yourself.
Yeah.
Excellent. Joe, what do you think? What's the best part of being a part of this really huge, wonderful, unique family?
For being in such close of age, it's not as usual as other families. and we could always be together doing the same thing, and other friends can be friends of their younger brothers or older sisters because they're so close and they're always together and they know them.
Awesome. And Julie, what are your thoughts about being a part of a big family?
We're like a big soccer team. Like we can just go outside and have a soccer game.
Awesome.
And when we clean up, we have a cheer.
A cheer? Okay, something that kind of keeps you all energized and moving quickly to get it done?
So
Can you share this cheer?
It's like a song.
Uh-huh.
Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3.
It's time to pick up everything and put it away. Pick out the toys and put it away. It's time to pick up everything and put it away. La 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 la, it's a brand new day.
Now, can I explain the la 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 la? This is a song I heard on the tape years ago when I was babysitting, and I never learned the words. So it becomes la la la.
So there
la,
might be some other words there, but Mom's version has the la 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 la, and it has stuck. Well, you all sound like the kids from The Sound of Music. I am telling you, don't forget us, this little show we have when the agents come calling, because I know this doesn't sound cool, but you guys are adorable and perfectly in tune. So is this something you're doing too? Are you all doing music at home?
Not at all.
So it's just this one song.
this
This
is
is it in your
That's
repertoire.
it.
It's just this one song. I just love it. Okay, I know it's corny. I won't ask you to sing it again on camera.
We
but
do.
that
One
is
thing
great.
we do is that at Christmas time we go singing at a nursing home.
Okay. Okay.
But
so
other than the
everybody's in
Christmas
tune.
tunes, that's it.
I just think it's great. Well, there are some people who would say, "Oh, but you know, when you're part of a big family, you don't get the attention that you need." And I think Christina brought up some good points about learning to share that attention, and then also learning to do something with that time on your own. Are there any downsides to being a part of a really big family that you can think of, Julie?
Well, you don't really get to do some things other people get to do, like go on a plane to go on vacation. We don't agree on what to play sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to get a general consensus on. Let's play something. Can't agree on it.
Okay.
Or what movie we're going to watch. That's hard.
So you have some systems for how you figure these things out. Joe, anything you can think of that is sort of a downside?
If we get in a fight, some more people will come together and start getting into it, but my mom will come and stop it, or one of the older kids will stop the fight.
Okay. So you all are helping to manage the little kids?
Yes.
Awesome. Michelle, anything you can think of that might be a downside?
Well, as Julie said, we don't have things as possible as others do. And, well, we are, well, we don't really get along with each other sometimes, so yeah.
So
Yeah,
that could, and that could happen in any family.
Well, and another thing I'm sure Michelle could attest to, but when it's homework time, there's, it's basically take a number because there's always questions. And so you don't get the immediate response you might want to. So I think Michelle would agree that that's also an issue because there's only one person to help with the homework question.
Now, do the older kids help the little kids with homework?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. But then there's always those questions inevitably that you have to wait for mom or dad to answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's just incredible to see you, and I'm so happy that you kids agreed to come, because I know this isn't always the coolest thing to hang out with us, but our days are always made better having you around, so thank you so much. What's on the horizon, Mom and Dad, for the Kilmer family? Had you been approached about a reality show?
Well, it's mentioned to us, but not from anybody official. But we would not be willing to do a reality show because, as I often say to people, it would be more like a comedy if you came into our home, but I think it would really affect the family dynamic, and as well as our ability to work parenting-wise and help the children grow up in the way that we would like. I admire the Duggars for what they've done, and I certainly don't think I could follow in their footsteps, but as far as the Kilmer family goes, we couldn't possibly do
Well, you're awesome. And don't forget us if, in fact, you change your mind about endorsing a product or anything like that.
Right.
We're going to look forward to seeing you all again. Keep us posted about what's happening and stay encouraged. You're doing an incredible job with these children. That is obvious.
Thank you. Well, thanks for having us.
Thanks for joining us. Well, that's our show. I want to thank the Kilmer family for sharing their wonderful story today. And if you have a story you'd like to share about a life in transition, email us at our email address at info@intransitionwithlibra.com or visit our website at www.intransitionwithlibra.com. And don't forget to like us on Facebook at In Transition with Libra Johnson and follow us on Twitter at IT with Libra Show. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.